hopefully as a pleasant surprise to everyone, it's time for race number 1 of 29 in the 1989 Throwbacks. Might take me a little bit getting used to saying 1989 because I've been saying 1988 for almost a year, and actually for 40 races because one of my saves corrupted. Numpty. Anyways, you guys saw the duel races, I imagine. If you didn't see the duel races, well, they are on my channel, available for viewing if you so please. If we take a look here at the top 10 starting lineup here, we've got Rusty Wallace, he's in first, Tim Richmond second, Michael Waltrip, who won the Prelude to the Throwbacks and his duel race, he's in third, Alan Kulwicki, who won his duel race, is fourth, Jeff Bodine fifth, Kyle Petty sixth, Ken Schrader seventh, Dick Trickle eighth, Morgan Shepherd ninth, and Davey Allison will round out the top 10. This should be a really good Daytona 500.
Start your engines.
The command has just been given. You can see the entire field here. We're gonna have to give the start a second go. Let's try this again. It's okay, it's okay. We'll give the start a second go. Looks like we're good now. We'll see the pace car. He's gonna come up off of turn number 4. Elmo Langley, NASCAR legend, pace car driver. Of course, also a legendary team owner. Pace car dives off into pit road. Cars are coming down to the line. And the green flag is out. The 1989 Throwback season has officially begun. Tim Richmond gets a really good jump on Rusty Wallace here. They head off into turn number 1. Kulwicki is right on the back of Tim Richmond on the outside line there. And it looks like Wallace and Richmond, they're going to pull dead even going down the back straightaway here at Daytona. Racing off at over 170 miles an hour into corner number 3, Tim Richmond will take the lead with the help of Alan Kulwicki on the outside lane. Who will Tim Richmond go with down the tri-oval? Looks like he's going to pull down, maybe pull up. No, he's just going to run right in the middle of the two. The bottom line, that's the line that has the draft though, so right now Kulwicki doesn't really have a lot of help on the outside line. He's about to get some help in the form of Ken Schrader, though. And no, they're going to try to go 3 wide for second. Jeff Bodine and Morgan Shepherd down low. Kulwicki all the way up against the wall. Rusty Wallace right in the middle of all of it. Bodine didn't have the momentum. And Kulwicki pulls even with Wallace down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, the 1986 Daytona 500 winner, Tim Richmond, he's enjoying the lead for right now. Rusty Wallace seems like he's about to pull uncontestedly into second. Alan Kulwicki third, Jeff Bodine fourth, and Davey Allison fifth. Brain fart. Never good. The top 4, they all took the high lane going into the corner, but they clearly underestimated Davey Allison's running power. Here comes Allison down on the bottom. After a not-so-good 1988 season where he finished only 19th in points, which is awful, especially for a driver the caliber of Davey Allison. Looks like he's about to move into second place, though. Tim Richmond The Chevrolet, he's leading a Pontiac and 2 Fords right now here at the front. Rookie driving an unsponsored car, Butch Miller in the 51, he's down there on the bottom. You can just see that he obviously doesn't have the driving nor the equipment to keep up with the caliber drivers such as Davey Allison, Tim Richmond, Rusty Wallace, and Alan Kulwicki. Look at these 4. They're going to attempt to go 3 wide through turn 3 here at Daytona. Good Lord, this battle for second. It's intense. Kulwicki will go to second place. Richmond's just like, keep battling behind me, boys. Oh, did Kulwicki slip in there? He got second. And he's going to go for the lead. He's going to be the first person to contest Tim Richmond for the lead. Butch Miller slips up, and that might be an invitation for Terry Labonte and Mark Martin to start working through. Dale Earnhardt, who had a really bad run in his duel race, he's finally back up into the top 5. We know Earnhardt has a strong car. He won the 500 last year. With a dominating car, might I add. Right now, it looks like Alan Kulwicki might have the dominating car. He pulled out here. He did quite well. Of course, Tim Richmond, he led the first 4 laps of this race. The first 5 laps of this race, I should say. And it looks like Alan Kulwicki, he's going to lead lap number 6. And he's got a pretty solid hold on this lead for right now. But here comes Earnhardt out of absolutely nowhere. Earnhardt storms to the lead through turns 1 and 2. Now the question is, where does Kulwicki and Richmond go? Earnhardt storming off to about a 3 car length advantage going down the back straightaway. That might hurt him. The pack might be able to gang up on him if they get a really good run here. Man, look at all the people on the top line. Alan Kulwicki, Tim Richmond, Mark Martin, Davey Allison, and Rusty Wallace. Those guys are so strong. Here comes Richmond and Kulwicki on the high side. They're going to try to pass Earnhardt on the long way around this track. I think they might be able to do it. Earnhardt gets loose in the middle of the corner. Side by side for second. That might turn into side by side for the lead. Look at the push that Richmond is giving Kulwicki right now. Dead even going into turn number 3. Right now you've got Junior Johnson, Richard Childress, the owners down low. Alan Kulwicki running his own ride, and Tim Richmond driving for Rick Hendrick on the high side. These 2 guys are starting to pull away a little bit from the main pack. That's how dominating these 4 cars are. Maybe these 2 car drafts here, they might actually be able to start taking off from the pack themselves. But Terry Labonte, he can't stick to the back of the 3 car to help him pull away. Meanwhile, Terry Labonte and Darrell Waltrip are hooking up on the inside line. Earnhardt got a really good run up off of turn number 2, so he's going to pull away just a little bit. You can imagine that... I hit the wrong button there. You can imagine that Kulwicki's going to start falling back now that the pack's caught back up to him. But now we've got Terry Labonte just barely beating Dale Earnhardt to the line there. Let's see, is Sterling Marlin going to try to make it 3 wide in turn 1? That's risky to do. He's not going to be able to quite do it. He figured if he tried to do that, Terry Labonte probably would have pushed him all the way down to the apron of the track. It's a legal move, but it's a very risky move at this track. It's not a track where you want to get off the throttle. You got to stay full throttle all the way around this track. Meanwhile, Sterling Marlin, no stranger to super speedway success, had a top 5 at Talladega last year and actually won his first race at Talladega. So he knows how to get the job done at the big tracks. Meanwhile, Darrell Waltrip gave a good push here from Morgan Shepherd in the 75. Another person that knows how to get it done at the big tracks. Darrell Waltrip got his first win with Rick Hendrick at Talladega. And also Morgan Shepherd got his first win of his career in the number 26 car at Talladega. So we're seeing a lot of people that have had a lot of Talladega success. Yes. Kyle Petty's another driver. Got his first win at Talladega. Yep. 1986. The last race before they implemented the restrictor plate after Benny Parsons' nearly fatal accident in the spring 1986 Talladega race. Meanwhile, Butch Miller's gone back to the front. What is this? Right now, the two-car draft of Morgan Shepherd and Darrell Waltrip, they seem like they're trying to go away from the pack here. Imagine if they can do that. Imagine if these two running alone can pull away from the pack, and I don't think Morgan Shepherd wants any part of that. He wants the 5 bonus points for leading the lap. Here comes Shepherd to the bottom, side by side to the line. Shepherd's got him by an inch. Give him 5 bonus points. Now, are those 5 bonus points going to be worth the risk? Because here comes the pack. Ken Schrader, Harry Gant, and Davey Allison all down low. And more. Bill Elliott has finally found his way towards the front. And it's about time that he's found his way towards the front. And here we go. Harry Gant, the 1984 Daytona 500 winner. He's going to slip down. Want to know someone that we haven't seen all day? Michael Waltrip, the winner of the Prelude and the winner of his respective duel race. We have not really seen much of Michael Waltrip today. Harry Gant will get the 5 bonus points for leading the lap there. Davey Allison's going to pull down low. Third-year driver here in the Cup Series. Made a splash in 1987. Finished 12th in the championship. Got his first career win at Michigan. Won the Rookie of the Year. 1988, he only had 6 top 10 finishes. Finished 19th in points. Not really doing well. Now here comes Wallace. He's going to pull down low. And look who he's got behind him. Mr. Super Speedway himself. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. He's coming up off of turn 4, and let's see if he can make a move on Wallace. Not quite. Wallace is going to lead that lap. Harry Gant's going to pull down low on Bill Elliott. And with the exception of Wallace here, you could swear you're watching a replay of the 1984 Daytona 500, which was basically a battle between Harry Gant and Bill Elliott. Now, Gant also had a really good 1984 season. Unfortunately, he just nobody could keep the pace that Bill Elliott was doing during the middle of that season. He was just winning every other race when it came to the summer of that season. Just the mid-third of the 1984 races. You might as well dub that the summer of Elliott. They're going 3 wide for the lead. Mark Martin down low. Rusty Wallace all the way against the wall. Almost 4 wide going into 1. Mark Martin to the lead. He's never won this event before. Lake Speed, he's looking for his first career win. Well, then again, so is Mark Martin. Tim Richmond, he's had success here at Talladega before. Here at Daytona before. He's won the 500. So has Elliott. Who's behind him? Elliott right on the back of the 25. Here comes the 35. Oh, here comes Ken Schrader, the 4th Hendrick car. Schrader's come alive after a very disappointing 1988. And now here comes Dale Earnhardt, the defending champion. 3 wide for the lead again. And you wanted an action-packed race. You guys are getting it, folks. Terry Labonte not making a move on Earnhardt. Looks like the top 5 or 6 drivers here, they're going to go single file. Earnhardt, Labonte, Gant, Waltrip, Allison. That's your top 5. They're going to stay single file for now. No, here comes Morgan Shepherd down low. He makes a move on Darrell Waltrip. He's going to get that position, and he's going to get some help here on the bottom. A couple of the strongest Fords in the game. Now here comes the 6. No, he's not pulling out, but the 33 of Gant, he pulled out. That was a great move by Harry Gant there. A definite veteran's move. Well, then again, Terry Labonte, he's certainly been around forever as well. The Iron Man of stock car racing. Meanwhile, Earnhardt continues to lead out in front here. That's the slow car, the number 23 unsponsored car. That is Eddie Bierschwell. 75 pulls down. He's going to pass Earnhardt here, so Morgan Shepherd will go into the lead. We'll see what happens with the 23. Looks like he's just going to go high. The pack can't really split them. Everyone down low, they're just going to follow Morgan Shepherd through turns 3 and 4. Meanwhile, they're starting to go 2 abreast after the 3rd position. Darrell Waltrip now moves into 4th, and we got a battle for 5th here. And it looks like Lake Speed's not going to be putting up much of a battle there. And the replacement for Buddy Baker, Jimmy Spencer, moves into 5th, but for not that long. Here comes Ricky Rudd on the bottom. Meanwhile, we've got a run for 2nd position here. That might turn into a run for the lead if Labonte can get up to Morgan Shepherd. Labonte goes high. Here comes Darrell Waltrip, trying to get win number 73 in his career. And he's getting a really good push here from the 26 and the 25 down low. We're going to come to lap number 20 here when we cross the line. Waltrip in the lead for now. Will that continue? He's able to keep the door shut on Rudd, but he gets tight going into turn 1. Ricky Rudd to the bottom, and Ricky Rudd is going to go to the lead coming off of turn 2. The question is, where does Tim Richmond want to go? He's going to go low, and we said that we haven't seen much of Michael Waltrip. Here he comes. We know that 30 car is strong. Either that or he's just literally been in the right place at the right time. Some cars opting for pit stops. Lake Speed's going to pull up high. Here comes the 30 of Michael Waltrip down low. The slow car, the slow blue Pontiac. That is the number 70 of J.D. McDuffie. And you can see, whoa! McDuffie must have gotten really loose there off of turn number 2 because it looked like he slowed way down. And that's going to give Tim Richmond a huge advantage coming off of turn 2. Well, that's huge advantages are usually good at tracks, but not this one. Tim Richmond was probably smart there in pitting, and that'll give the lead to the number 30 of Michael Waltrip. Not for long. Here comes Bill Elliott. Elliott, who had one really good season, hasn't really captured the magic since then. Trying to maybe regain some of that magic that he had during 1984. Trying to re-become the dominant driver that he was. Sometimes that happens. You have one really good dominant season and nothing else happens. And the 9's going to pull into pit road, and the question is, where are some of the leaders? Well, here's Tim Richmond in the 25. I'm guessing he's going to be the car to follow. You've got a rookie here in the form of Hutch Strickland in the number 57 Pontiac. That's an interesting car to be behind. That's the car that Morgan Shepherd drove to a top 25 points finish. And Davey Allison has just retired from this race, and he will finish 42nd because of it. Meanwhile, here comes a whole cluster of cars out. They're not going to beat Richmond or Strickland out. The thing is that Elliott has them beat by a mile. Oh, we've got this little bit of a, well, that's more than a little bit of a pack, so we'll see those guys catch back up. Michael Waltrip trying to get back up to speed here. Meanwhile, this race is all, well, Ben Hess ended up picking up a lap lead. That'll get him 5 bonus points by staying out. So that was a very smart move there by Ben Hess. Those 5 bonus points, I bet, are going to go a long way towards him potentially getting into the top 25 in standings if he can. True that. Elliott in the lead. He's got a commanding lead for now. Mr. Super Speedway himself, Bill Elliott, who has been oh so dominant here at Daytona and Talladega over the years. He's always by far had the best car. He may have not come home with a win every single time, but he was always the car to beat. Usually bad luck would get in the way of him winning the race. Or in the case of the 1985 Daytona 500, we ended up having a fluke driver in the form of Greg Sachs that legitimately had the better car. That just happens, though. We are now past halfway. Bill Elliott has a 1 3/4 second lead over Tim Richmond. And here we've got a 3-car draft between Sterling Marlin, Darrell Waltrip, and Brett Bodine in the 15. That is the battle for third. You can see Strickland in the 57 trying to hang on to the back of that pack. This mini pack seems like they're going to be catching Tim Richmond shortly. Meanwhile, I'd say Elliott's probably got 2 or 3 more laps alone here in the lead. We'll see if that's the case. Whoa, Richmond making up a half a second in that one lap alone. Wow, does Richmond have a fast car? Does Richmond have a fast car today? Well, we know that the new chassis that Chevrolet's brought out, that Chevy Lumina, appears to be really fast at these super speedways. Meanwhile, the Ford Thunderbirds don't seem to have quite the same speed as the Chevy Luminas. And man, you can see Richmond is running Elliott right down. Yeah, he's caught his draft now, so this is going to be a really strong run by Richmond. Where's he going to go? He's going to get deked out here by Elliott, and Elliott throws the block. Richmond down low. Tim Richmond trying to go to the lead here. .25 staying securely down on the bottom. Elliott right up against that white painted line there at the top here at Daytona. Meanwhile, here comes Marlin, Bodine, and Waltrip. Now these 2 cars drafting, these guys can legitimately pull on any pack. You want to talk about two drivers that are extremely successful in super speedway competition. Maybe you could even say extremely successful in general. These two guys just light it up every single race. They go out there, they give it all. And here comes Elliott to the bottom. He's going to go for the lead. This'll be that pack in the back's chance to catch up to these two leaders. They're going to stay side by side for a bit too, so I'm going to guarantee you at least Sterling Marlin's going to be able to catch them. Marlin is closing in. Sterling Marlin in the number 94 Sunoco Buick, or Oldsmobile rather. And you have Brett Bodine here in the 15. His brother, Jeff Bodine, has had success at the super speedways. Jeff not winning at Talladega, but having several top fives there, as well as winning 2 Prelude races. Brett trying to do maybe even one better than his brother Jeff. Try to win the big one, the Daytona 500. Though right now, if I were a betting man, it's going to be one of these two drivers here up front. Elliott, Richmond. No, you might not want to count that 17 car out there. Darrell Waltrip. Waltrip's really hungry after winning only one race in the past 2 years. I mean, he is so close to moving up into the upper echelon. Cale Yarborough with 80 wins, Bobby Allison with 85 wins. Right now, Waltrip standing at 72 career wins. It would be big news if Waltrip could end up doing that. Elliott is right behind the 25 of Richmond. Trying to see if he can make another move. And it looks like Elliott and Richmond are actually pulling on the 94, the 17, and the 15. So forget about that. It's just Richmond and Elliott here at the front. There's really no other contenders. I'll tell you what, if Marlin and Waltrip, they can finally work together, try to get their 3-car pack going, they can actually end up passing Elliott and Richmond here. But man, that is going to take a lot of working together. And working together is not in Darrell Waltrip's vocabulary. No, he is going to fight, scratch, claw, and do everything he can to advance a position. Waltrip, one of the most aggressive drivers, the 3-time champion of NASCAR, 1981, 1982, and 1985. Meanwhile, the leaders are side by side again. Elliott's like, yeah, Richmond, you've had enough time leading. It's now my turn to start leading again. See if he can actually get there. It's still side by side. They are dead even going on to the back straightaway here. Richmond just running evenly here with Elliott. Maybe Elliott a little bit faster down the straightaway. Turns 3 and 4. This will really decide between the two of them. And it looks like Elliott's going to pull up in front of the 25 here. So put Elliott into the lead. I think we could pretty much say that Tim Richmond's going to lead the most laps. Unless something cataclysmic happens to that 25 car. And now Richmond, he's going to pull down on the very next lap. There you go. And now this is the point where those 3 guys need to work together. And they're just not taking advantage of their opportunities. And these 2 are just pulling away. You can see the fastest lap charts. Ken Schrader has the fastest lap of the race. with an average speed of 201.252 miles an hour. Currently, this race has been blazing fast. We've averaged 191.6 miles per hour today. 15 laps to go here in the Daytona 500. Elliott down low, Richmond up on the high lane. We'll see. We'll have to see how this race ends up. There should be one more go around for pit stops. And we'll see in the final 3 laps who is going to win the Daytona 500. We're just anticipating who's going to make it, who's not going to make it. And there's always 1 or 2 people that try to make it to the end but just barely don't make it. We'll see if that happens again. Richmond pulls down. It looks like Elliott and Richmond, they're really starting to battle each other. And I'm telling you, those guys in the back, they're not working together to get back up. And whoa! Something amiss on the 25 car. He's down to the apron. He's in the grass. An issue with the Tim Richmond machine, potentially. Oh, good Lord. An issue with Tim Richmond. Elliott is at the point he's all alone, but he's going to get run down. There goes a huge pack of cars. What is wrong with 25? Oh, good Lord. It looked like something must have broke on the 25. Maybe a flat tire may have happened. I'm not 100% sure what just happened. But Tim Richmond just had some kind of failure on the back straightaway, having to come into the pits early. It's going to need some luck. Oh, he just pulls it behind the wall. That'll be it for him. Richmond pulls his car behind the wall. He apparently went down a cylinder. Elliott's the leader with 12 laps to go. Now what happens? Oh, these 4 cars, they're in the lead now. And it looks like Elliott's just pulling off on these 4 guys because they're battling each other. So we all know that Elliott's got a strong car. And now we got the question here. How long is it going to take the huge pack to catch back up? I don't think they're going to catch back up in enough time. We've seen stranger things happen here at Daytona. Brett Bodine, man, they are not going to stop battling for second here. Man, crazy. Brett Bodine going to second place here. $17 of Waltrip, he ducks down. He's going to go for third. Marlin staying back. Might turn him to fourth. Elliott continuing to lead here at Daytona. Darrell Waltrip, he's never won here, and now Brett Bodine, that is a scheduled stop now. So Brett Bodine pulling down at pit road. 10 laps to go. That will start the cycle of pit stops. That also really slowed down both the 94 and 17, so now it looks like the 17, he's going to fall into the clutches of this pack here. Elliott is just free roaming in front of everyone. It's going to be a huge thing here. Elliott can just stay out front. He'll be a 2-time winner of the Daytona 500. See if that can continue to happen. Elliott pulls down into pit road. Looks like Marlin's going to follow. A lot of people in the backpack will follow as well. Blake Speed will end up leading this lap. Oh. So give the lap to Lake Speed. That is an owner driver job there in the 83. A couple of other people I haven't hit yet. Darryl Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt, Phil Parsons, Ricky Rudd. Right now the 83 is all alone. And there's Larry Pearson in the 4. He doesn't have a front of his car right now. That's interesting. We'll see here. If I was Lake Speed, I'd pull it into pit road. He's not going to do that. Wallace, he's going to pull it into pit road. And here's the 84 of Dick Trickle. He's going to go into second place. Or not. Is he a lap down? Oh. Dick Trickle's a lap down, so disregard everything I just said. 83 is in the lead. And I'm not sure who's in second place. I don't think anyone else has not pit yet. Yeah, no one else has not pit. He's the only one that hasn't pit. So you're going to try to stretch it all the way. It's a long way to go. I think Lake Speed's going to try to stretch it all the way with no more pit stops and try to stay out and win the thing. Well, he's not going to be run down by anybody, so he's got at least a half a lap lead to play with here to save fuel. We'll see just how large his lead actually is once the scoring loops update. And it appears he's got a 32-second advantage over Bill Elliott. So right now, Lake Speed is your leader. He has not pit. And I'll tell you what, if he can pull himself right behind Ken Schrader and Alan Kulwicki here, he can pull off one of the biggest upsets in Daytona 500 history. All he needs to do is make it another 5.5 laps around this 2.5 mile oval. Might be a little interesting. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, but he can conserve and conserve big. His idea was to do this the whole time. This is going to be a genius fuel mileage effort here from Lake Speed if he's able to do it. It does not look like he's going to, though. He's pulling down into pit road. And that's going to bring us to our leaders, which are here. Dale Earnhardt, Brett Bodine, Bill Elliott, Jeff Bodine, and you have Sterling Marlin as well. So you've got Dale Earnhardt in the lead, Brett Bodine second, Bill Elliott third, Jeff Bodine fourth, Sterling Marlin trying to tail in for fifth. 4 laps to go. Can Earnhardt win back-to-back 500s? Not many people have done that. Brett Bodine going to the bottom. He's got Elliott backing him. Jeff Bodine starting to fall back to Sterling Marlin. Brett Bodine is in the lead here at Daytona, and he's pulling away a little bit from Bill Elliott. Earnhardt right back underneath the 9 of Elliott. Jeff Bodine falls all the way back to 5th. His younger brother Brett in the lead. 4 laps to go. Can Brett Bodine hold on for his first career win here at the Daytona 500? That'll be something. Earnhardt goes back to the bottom. We know he's got a very strong car. One of those Chevrolet Luminas, they just really fly at the super speedways. They must have just incredible top speeds, especially in comparison to the Fords. And you can see Earnhardt here. He's just trying to pull off Sterling Marlin. He might be able to get his first Daytona 500 win. Brett Bodine and Bill Elliott, they are not giving up. The two Fords. 3 laps to go. What can they do? That'll be big. Nope. Bodine back down low. He's got it. Going down the back straightaway here. And is there a car in the dirt or something? I'm not 100% sure what that was. And we've got a car smoking. And it's Trickle's car. Unfortunately. So 2 laps remaining. Can Brett Bodine hold on here for his first career win? And this will be big. Bud Moore has not won a race since 1985. It'll be crazy if they're able to get this done. It's been so long for Bud Moore. It's been so long for Brett Bodine. It's just been so long in general for that entire team. Another team that hasn't won in a long time would be that 94 team of Hagan. They haven't won a race also since 1985, since Terry Labonte's been with the team. Here we go. Brett Bodine is going to come down. He's going to take the white flag here at Daytona. 1 lap to go. I don't want to single out here, but here comes Jeff Bodine, his brother, along with Dale Earnhardt. Can they make any moves? Sterling Marlin, he might try to make it interesting here. The 4 car, slow car, Larry Pearson here on the back straightaway. Shouldn't make too much of a fuss. We'll see what happens. And it looks like he will. Here comes Jeff Bodine to the bottom. Oh, wow. Larry Pearson puts the block job, and now here comes Jeff Bodine. He's going to come down, and he's going to win the Daytona 500. Wow. Finally. What a turn of events. Brett will finish 4th. Yeah, Larry Pearson, he was going up high. He was going down low. There was no way of telling where he was going there. That was just terrible spotting duties by whoever was doing that. And just what a race by the Bodines in general. I thought we were going to see Brett Bodine's first career win there going into turn 3. I thought he had it. Turns out it's just not his day. His brother Jeff, though, got his first win in 1984 for Rick Hendrick. He gets his first Daytona 500 win in 1989. There you can see your official standings. We had 3 DNFs. Now you can see just how this is how the standings are after just 1 race. Obviously, the standings are going to change significantly once we get further and further into the season. But Bodine gets his first Daytona 500 win. We'll see you next time for the Good Wrench 500 at Rockingham.